So welcome to our September program. This marks our first program of the season. We're going to be doing these every month, third Monday of the month, right here at the Chico Creek Nature Center. And in January, we have a pretty big one. We have the Snow Goose Festival for our program in January. A lot of fun. I'm sure everyone here will be there. And if you haven't been to the Snow Goose Festival yet, you will this year. Last weekend of January, mark your calendars now. All right, so this is our annual meeting, so to speak, but monthly meeting as well. And we're going to start off with sightings today. Anybody have special bird sightings they'd like to share? Lori.
Okay, it's not technically a bird sighting, but it's a white-tailed kite newsletter sighting. I used to work at the Chico State Library, and I was taking a self-guided tour, and I went into the special collections, and sitting right on their counter was a white-tailed kite. Oh, and I was like wondering if it was like an older one or something. So I look up to it and I go, oh, that's this month. This is the newest one. And the guy that was in there said he didn't even realize that it was on the counter, and he said his mom is really big into birds, so I was kind of telling him a little bit about it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we ship a copy to the Merriam Library. Glad people get to see it. Yeah, Paul, any sightings?
Yeah, I was on a long bike trip this summer, but when I was in Idaho, I saw this bird. Is it a stork? What is it? It's a sandhill crane. Well, anyway, it was a red-brown. It was so red-brown that I didn't recognize it as a sandhill crane. And so
wow.
They eat some mineral that changes the color of their plumage. And anyway, camouflaged.
Wow, that's amazing.
In Idaho, north of Boise.
Probably breeding up there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. This is Paul Kirk, a new board member at large who's joined the AlphaCal board. Any other announcements any other sightings before we move on? Hi, Claudia. Any other sightings? All right. Trish has one.
We live right by Cow Park Lake, and right now there are just a boatload of yellow warblers all around the lake. They're just everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah, there has been a lot.
Yellow warblers.
Yeah.
I've been seeing them too. So they're on their migration. All right, so that's great.
I have a sighting.
Yes, Ken.
The last weekend's field trip, what is it? Little Chico Creek Access? That was called the washout, but just on the other side, on the Mugwort Trail, had a summer tanager. So had a group of people, and we're able to see female, less flashy than the male, but it was neat to see. And they're quite a bit bigger than a western tanager, and they don't have the wing bars that a western would.
Mostly yellow and.
Yeah, kind of the pale yellowish. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, pretty rare to be seen around here. Well, all right. Well, at our annual meeting, we usually go over some of our recapping of the year so far. So I just wanted to say I've been on paternity leave. Had a little baby, and yeah, thank you. He's in the way back on Maggie's chest in the kangaroo pouch there. Really happy there. So I haven't been working the last 6 weeks, and today's my first day back, and it's so good to be back here. But so yeah, other accomplishments this year, summer camps. We really engaged with local and regional summer camps in a greater way this year, going out to Tehama County, up in Mineral and Mill Creek, working with Glenn County 4-H students up there, going out to Red Bluff, doing the recreation area. I came to the Chico Creek Nature Center, did outdoor education for their summer camp here, and also a whole bunch with Paradise Rec and Parks District up at Paradise Lake. We worked with their summer camp, Camp Courage, as well as Spring Valley School up in Concal. We worked with their summer camp, some of the more troubled youth in that school program, and got to show them the beauty of birds. And it was awesome. And Calvin Hamilton in here, we built a whole bunch of bird boxes with some students at a summer camp too. So that's been really good. Other things this year, I had a tricolored blackbird survey, and surprisingly, we got to observe several colonies of this threatened bird species, which is rare. Usually we don't ever see them, but we saw several colonies in Tehama County, a few in Tehama, and then a couple in Butte County as well. So the threatened bird is still finding places to breed and still doing so. We've also been doing classroom and outdoor education in the spring, and lots and lots of field trips that Karen Smith has been organizing, and all of our amazing field trip leaders have been leading. And the Snow Goose Festival, which we're just starting to gear up for already. And so some things coming up in October. Next month, we'll be meeting here again, third Monday at 6:30. We will have Marilee Woodhouse from the Battle Creek Alliance and Defiance Raptor Rescue. So she is one of the only people with an eagle permit in Northern California, and she rescues eagles. And also takes water samples and diligently monitors the water quality of Battle Creek and really works to protect that watershed. And so she'll be sharing about some of her work rescuing raptors as well as in her conservation of the watershed. And so field trips coming up this Friday. Karen Smith and Karen White are leading a trip which was moved to, was it 5 Mile? So, yep, meeting at 5 Mile. You can sign up on our website, going to altical.org from our calendar. And then we also have next Wednesday, or I guess the first Wednesday, October 1st, is Kayaking Among the Birds, where Karen Smith and Pamela Wald-Smith and Brad Cook will be leading people kayaking. And then the first weekend of October, the 3rd through 5th, we have Ken Sobon and Matt Forrester leading our Point Reyes trip. So lots of good trips coming up. Hope to see you guys out there. And yeah, so we also have a few board vacancies that we're looking to fill. So if you want to sign up and step up your volunteering with Altical to a new level, you can apply to be on our board. You can contact Ken at alticalpresident@gmail.com or me at director@altical.org. Specifically, we're looking for a vice president, a conservation chair, and a sanctuary and lands chair. So those are 3 different roles, kind of working with different elements of the organization. And we're looking for people that want to work with us.
We're a great group.
We're a great group. And we're also looking for a new office. So if anybody knows of a good place or has a good place available, let us know. Contact me and we will look into it. All right, so we're in here for the first time. They're doing some renovations in the living animal lab. They told me that we can go there next month. They said, bring everyone over next month. They're redoing it. It'll look really awesome. And you can see all the animals, but this month in construction. So we can check that out. And finally, moving on to our program tonight. We have Ken Sobon going to be talking about the Mishmi Hills and Assam. So Ken Sobon is our president of Altical, an avid birder, field trip leader, and was the NorCal chapter representative for Audubon, California. Ken runs the Northern Saw-Whet Owl Fall Migration Monitoring Projects and has been a science teacher teaching middle school students in Oroville since 1995. He has shared his love of science and birding with his students, both in the classroom and in the field. Tonight, Ken will take us on an exhilarating journey through the high-altitude foothills of the Himalayan mountains known as Mishmi Hills and the lowlands of the renowned tea plantations of Assam. This is arguably one of the most exotic birding destinations, offering a chance to explore seldom visited and remote corners of India's northeast. Without further ado, Ken Sobon.
Thanks, Jared. Jared, it's good to have you back. Jared does a fantastic job as executive director, and we're grateful to have him. So thank you. So let's see here. Those at home, welcome. So let me back up. So in April of last year, I took a trip to Assam, Mishmi Hills. It was, I think it was a 13, 14-day trip. So it was pretty fast, pretty whirlwind. I went with rock jumper birding. So they led the trip, and we had one permanent guide and then some other local guides that helped us identify the birds and helped us navigate the roads of India, which you'll see soon. So Assam, where is Assam? So Assam is, so we all know this kind of triangle of India kind of goes up here, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh. So here is Assam. So we were actually up in the hills, up at this area here, and then we actually went into this area that's kind of administered by India, but also China says it's theirs, and they fight over it, but it wasn't there. I felt safe there. There was no battles, but they had to do a lot of background checks to make sure I'm not a spy or something. But they don't allow certain people into that region there. But we were in the foothills. The trip, well, we left SFO, and it was 16-and-a-half-hour flight nonstop. So the trip, this is their projected trip, which was interesting. On the way there, we kind of went over the North Pole. We went a little bit to the right here, and then on the way back, we kind of went through the Pacific. And it all depends on trade winds and which way the winds are going. Interesting, they plan the route that morning. They look at the weather, and because if they've got a tailwind or a headwind, they go a different direction. They go north and over or directly over the Pacific. So it's pretty fascinating. So this is our first hotel, Lord's Inn. The hotels were very primitive, very primitive. This was a pretty nice one. One of them that we stayed in wasn't even called a hotel, but there were lots of bugs. The sheets looked clean when I looked in, but there was bugs, there was dirt on the wall. It was very primitive. It's the area where I was in Assam is not for the cautious traveler. You need to be. And then I'm showing you, this is just outside, I'm standing kind of in the field here, taking this picture. So that's important in a second. My first breakfast. So the food, God, you'll see lots of food pictures. In a lot of ways, India was like drinking through a fire hose. It's just so much, so spicy, so loud, so much traffic, cows all over, poop you step in every day. The food, incredibly spicy, but just really, really neat, but a lot. And you can see this one dish is, this rice is, curry and raisins and then white rice and stewed vegetables and some porridge. And then I had like a fried egg. And those bananas, they're starting to become popular in the States. And they're these small mini bananas. I forget the name of them. But they're amazing. They're so good. And when they're brown, they still taste good. The Cavendish bananas we have in the States don't even compare. So cattle. In this region of Assam, this is a full-grown, this is a cow. And they stand about my waist height. So they're a much smaller, shorter one. Down in New Delhi, in certain areas, the cattle are different. They're a little bit taller. So these are some of the birds I saw at my hotel. So green-footed pigeon, yellow-footed green pigeon, coppersmith barbet. And this is just walking around. These are like, oh, life bird, life bird, life bird, life bird. I think I got a total of like close to 400 new birds. Rufous tree pie. So we have magpies and they have 3 species. Well, I saw 3 species of tree pie in India. So it has a kind of a magpie look, doesn't it? Blue-throated barbet. And then just in the grass area, the white-breasted waterhen, there was no water around, but it was just kind of, just like an egret or heron will hang out in the grassland. Indian pied myna. And then the brown shrike. We have our loggerhead shrike. This one is just so soft and delicate and cute compared to the loggerhead. The loggerhead, the nickname of shrikes are the butcher birds. They store their prey on the barbed wire fence. They gorge it, they skewer it, yeah. And this is a sweet little, cute little brown shrike. Jungle babbler, just right outside. Now, this is not what you think it is. So I have this picture to share with my students. This is not a swastika. This goes the opposite direction. And this means peace and welcome. And the Nazis took this symbol and obviously distorted it and changed it around. But the symbol was quite over, you see it a lot. And it's such a good message of welcome and peace, and just the opposite than the Nazis. So this is Guwahati, just one of the streets. Lots of people are on the opposite side of the road, and that guy is on the wrong side of the road, but yeah. And then these are domestic water buffalo, just kind of chilling and hanging in the water, and they really like their water. So I hired a guide. I got there early and hired a guide to show me some of the areas of Guwahati. And this is the first place he took me. So this is a dump. And if you don't know, there's a lot of rare birds in dumps. So the bird you see is a greater adjutant. They have that huge gland in front and then a smaller gland in back. There's a lesser adjutant. I'll show you a picture, and they don't have that gland. The gland is kind of gross. I don't know. It's just these are storks. So they're related to like the marabou stork, and they're big, like heron egret size. So you can see the pile. The trucks come to this area on top, and then they back and they dump. And then the cattle sift. There's egrets in there. There's cattle egrets. There's adjutants. There's all kinds of animals in there. They sift through the trash. And then another picture. And their faces are all brown and dirty from the trash. Yeah, so these adjutants used to be they're storks, so they like kind of wetland. They like, but they're not there anymore. So with the wetlands decreasing, they've basically moved to the dump, and so that's where they hang out now, is in the dump. And there was several hundred there, and you can see, and then people in the pile searching for recycles. I'm not sure what else she was looking for. But you can see in the video there people were working around the heavy equipment. And they also have that weird little gland in back. You know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, the girls like it. The girl adjutants like it. You know, but I don't see, actually, when I look, I don't see a sexual dimorphism between. And I guess I should have researched that. I think they all have it. So this family was living in the dump. So maybe they were working, you know, they're cleaning themselves up. Maybe they were working in the dump and collecting. So now we've left the dump area. We got our adjutant. And then there's this lake that we're going to. And there's a crow, Indian crow flying over, but this interesting little town near the lake, and then the railroad track there. So on the lake, you can see that they do a lot of fishing in the lake. They're mending and drying the nets up there, and I'm not sure why this guy has a helmet on, but he's wearing his motorcycle helmet. Wasn't planning to stay for a while, I guess. I don't know. It's another picture of the lake. The lake is it's not super big, but beautiful. It's on the Brahmaputra River. So it's just off the Brahmaputra River. So one of the first birds that we saw in this area is a black-rumped flameback. And about the size of a pileated woodpecker, crow size. Saw several different flamebacks, and really stunning bird. Stunning bird. And then owls. Kind of looks like maybe one back that we can't see. I don't know. And then owls. Geez, I love owls. So this is a spotted owlet. You know, it kind of reminds me of like a burrowing owl. It kind of looks like the burrowing owl a little bit. About the same size. And I have a picture later of a pair of them. And then ashy wood swallow, you can see there's a nest there. What really jumped out to me is that really soft tone of the ashy color, and then that blue bill. And there's a nest. I didn't see anything in the nest, but yeah, there's a nest there. So I'm assuming it's a pair. And then white-throated. Oh, this? Like a guardrail, something like that. But it was out in the water, right in the edge of the water. So I don't know, like a bridge or something. And then white-throated kingfisher. Some of my pictures are better than others. Okay, some more food pictures. So I just kind of dumped it here, but I did take a picture. We got some eggplant and curried chicken. Had that almost every day. And it was delicious. Interesting limes, and there were other foods, but interesting limes, they're real long.
Do they taste the same?
Yeah, good flavor, yeah. So this is outside of my hotel, and just on the street, cattle walking. You know, you got your awesome Assam sign behind, and then cattle walking in the middle of the street.
Hey, Ken, how many in your group when you're moving these different?
I think there was like 8. Yeah, about 8. So smaller group. Yeah, we had 3. This is even before the group started. This is all basically on my own. And then this is in the airport as we're heading up to the north. And then just more food. So this is called a thali. So lots of small individual dishes, and then they give you a curry. So what the locals will do is they basically They take all the bowls out and then they just dump the bowls on the rice and then just kind of mix it in and they put their curry on top of that. And they do eat with their hands. They give us Western. I had the Western, fork. I had a taxi driver drive me to the airport and we ate together and he didn't want to sit with me. And I said, no, it's okay. You can sit right here. He said, oh, I'll sit in the back room. And I'm like, no, you can sit here. So I eat with my hands. I'm like, great. So, it was interesting for me. And I was eating, but kind of looking above my glasses, just kind of studying to seeing how he was do it, trying not to stare. And it was fascinating because it was neat. It was orderly. It wasn't messy. He did not lick his fingers. And he just kind of mixed in. And I licked my fingers more than he did. And he just kind of mixed it in and just, really just neatly, just, ate with his hands. And I thought it was just fascinating. So just some of the food. Oh, gosh. This is like a horseradish and then beans and spinach. And these are potatoes, roasted potatoes, small, the size of a marble, roasted. Delicious. And I think there's artichokes and yeah, chickpea. And then, okay, so this is the Brahmaputra River. So we went to this island over here, away from where all the people were to get away from the people so we could just see less developed area. And they told us that there was going to be a motorboat to take us across. Well, when we got there, he said, sorry, the motorboat is broken, but we do have a canoe. So we had to break up in two groups. No life jacket. I'm like, okay, there's crocodiles here. There's, no life jacket. And we had to bail ourselves. There's a little cup. We had to get the water out of the canoe. I was pretty nervous. I had an interesting experience a few months earlier on a whitewater raft trip. So I was just kind of nervous already. But we got there. And as we were going across, you can see this area right here. Look in the area. If you're at home, look at the water line on the right side. And you can see a Ganges River dolphin splash. So you can see Ganges River. So that was pretty neat to see Ganges River dolphin. And then
So freshwater dolphin.
freshwater dolphins, yeah. We were on the Brahmaputra, but still the Ganges dolphin. There's a footprint. What footprint is that?
Elephant.
Yeah, so elephant footprint, and we do have a human there. So you can see a human there. My size 12, so this probably wasn't a really big elephant. But that we did not see elephants on this island, but we did see lots of signs of them. And this is their grass. This is called elephant grass. So 12, 14, 16 feet tall. This guy, 85 years old, did a great job keeping up, and he's over like 6'5" or so. So you can see it's real tall grass. And then walking through the grass.
Snakes?
Didn't see, well, I saw snakes in the national park, but not here. No. No cobras. I wanted to see everything. Okay, and then a black baza flew over. So stunning. The picture on the right, I wouldn't say it's a raptor, but the picture on the left, I would say, it's a raptor. That's a stunning bird. And then this was another surprise, Chinese ruby throat. So the guy did, I was like, wow, that's a Chinese ruby. I didn't expect that. So it was pretty rare. And it should have been north at the time. So it should have already migrated and it was just kind of hanging out. So walking through the short grass, going into the tall grass on that island.
What time of year were you there?
April. Yeah, April. So red-whiskered bulbul, a distant picture of a pied kingfisher, and pied, if you don't know, means two colors. So the pied means two colors. Pied piper, black and white, the colors. And we have several pied birds on the.
What elevation were you at here?
Okay, so this is 100 feet. Just a few hundred feet probably. Yeah, real down. This is all still down in the valley of Assam, down in the, Indian pond heron, kind of like aggressive, small, kind of the size of a green heron, It looks like it's not going to take, it looks angry.
It's like it has really strong legs too.
Yep. Yeah. So now we're heading up into the mountains. And oh, no, we're not. Got ahead of myself. So this is still down the valley. We're heading kind of through the jungly area. I'm not sure why she said that, but. So we were in the 4-wheel drive. We had 3 vehicles, 3 different guides driving us. I'm kind of a worrier. I'm like, we're gonna get stuck, you know. We didn't.
Looks like a nice car though.
Yeah. So we went to this kind of a creek area, and at low water level, and that water level is important for later. You can see the local people. They have their little fish traps set up, and they build a bamboo wrap, you know, pillar for their traps, holding all the rocks in there. And then it started to rain, and we had a lot of rain. Probably a third of the days, maybe a little bit more than a third, we had rain. We're still out there.
What was the temperature?
60 or so. It wasn't too warm. April's a good time in temperature-wise. And then we had to get past that creek. So this is the creek that we were.
Did they provide boots?
No. But Oli, he had his own. This guy is great. Danish guy, just kind of, you know, trudging along. Sitting there waiting for a bird, but not a lot's happening when it's doing that. And then obviously we drive on the left side of the road, like in England. And then just cattle, just in the middle of the road. So and you just slow down. A 4-lane road, golly, a 4-lane road, like a freeway. And on the white line, there'll be cattle sitting in the middle. And you just slow down and you go around them. Driving is kind of crazy, as you'll see in this. But they don't drive that fast either. So they're just in and out. Honking means a blinker, means I'm passing one way or the other. So a lot of people are honking. You got, you know, the tuk-tuks and the motorcycles and bicycles and people. And that means, I don't know what that meant.
Not really a line dividing it.
Oh, no. So we're heading to my hotel. All those lights in the top right-hand corner, that's the hotel, and I'm like 3rd floor, I think. That's important in a second. It's like I'm driving here. I mean, okay, we're walking too. So I believe this is a wedding party, but I've seen the Indian wedding parties where the men go and meet the bride in Sacramento and stuff, but there are no men. So I don't know if the bride is in here, but they have like a dance parade. And this is just outside my hotel. In tradition, the groom rides up in his white horse, his white stallion, and meets the bride. So, you know, this one woman there, maybe is the bride, but usually the bride is decked out with all the gold. So it might not be wedding. You know, they're all the same color, so I don't know for sure. But the wedding that I saw in downtown Sacramento, he drove up in his white Ferrari. So, yeah. So now we're going up in the hills, and you can see the guardrails don't look real safe. You know, and it's one lane, basically 2 directions. 2 cars coming both ways. So not very wide. So big giant trucks will be coming down, and you just gotta pull over. If you are at all car sick, well, gosh, you're gonna have a hard time. The big trucks usually honk all the way down. They're going down the road. They're just honking constantly. And then you can see what the roads look like. And Assam is very steep. These Mishmi Hills aren't foothills like we have in California. They're just very jagged hills. And then you see a lot of signs like this. So, bro, slow down. You have a family, or bro, with all different messages. I wish I would have taken more pictures, but and I didn't have a hard time communicating. Most of the people I ran into spoke English, but just very fast, and I had a difficult time understanding what they were saying. And I asked them to slow down, and then I could understand. The second most spoken language in India is English. So we're up in the hills. We were up at 15,000 feet, and we're down to about 8 or 9,000 here. And this village, and it must snow here because it's that elevation, but just right on the side. Bamboo, recycled tin on the roofs, bamboo woven walls. So I don't know what they do in the winter. Burn a lot of wood or something. They've got logs basically to hold the tin down, and then goats. Just the hill cutting on the side, cutting at the side of a mountain. So yellow-cheeked tit. We saw a couple tits there, and here's a yellow-cheeked tit. Saw a verditor, sorry. Gorgeous blue color, that kind of the black mask. And the beautiful cibia, that's its name, beautiful cibia. And it is a really stunning, beautiful bird.
How big is that?
Okay, whiskered. I love the little mohawk and the little afro or whatever. Whiskered Eugenia. And then that's what happens when you drive. All the scratches, right? I thought that the contrast was really interesting. He's wearing his, rubber foam Crocs shoes, jeans, traditional clothing, and, Italian fedora. So so we stopped to have a little snack here, some tea and stuff. This is one of our drivers. He was in mourning. So when he's in mourning, he wears white. So he was going to be in mourning for his mother who died. So he's going to be in mourning for a year. So every day he was just going to wear white. And he was hiking through the jungle. So he stayed pretty clean. And a lot of the locals wanted pictures of me, wanted me to take a picture of them. And just a beautiful smile. And then this is an interesting picture. We made eye contact through the mirror. And he's like, okay, why are you taking a picture of me? And I didn't expect him to make eye contact. So it's a little awkward, but and that was one of the mirrors that got scraped off a car as you're passing each other, right? There's probably quite a few of those around on the road. Doing laundry here. And now it started to rain, so we came inside. You can hear the rain. So this is a little restaurant. I guess it's a restaurant. They're cooking for us. So it's really coming down. There's no birds to be seen. And then this is the inside of that woven bamboo walls. And even the dogs are hiding under the overhangs. Holes in the ceiling, dripping on the table. In the kitchen area, it stayed pretty clean, and this is how they heated the room. So it was chilly. It just this bucket with coal inside. So it was a little smoky, and coal actually coal, not like charcoals, has a really distinct smell, like fuel smell. So it wasn't. A couple of girls here doing some laundry in the water. More kids that wanted a picture, and they got a picture of me. They took their own. The people on the table are some of the people in the group. And just kind of a jolly kind of fella. I don't know. My students, when they saw this picture, I showed it. They're like, they laughed at it. It's just because it's just, I don't know. Okay, so there's the village we are. So right in the center of this mountain, it stopped raining. So now you can see the fog coming, evaporating off. And that's the village, just
right on the side of the hill. I'm not sure what keeps it there, but so the Himalayas, it cleared up a little bit so we can see the Himalayas. And, and at this point, we're probably 16,000 feet and there's no snow. So yeah, yeah. Lots of cool flowers, the violet, some sort. I put them on iNaturalist and I got on my deed, but I didn't put all the names. Neat little club moss and striated laughing thrush.
Good luck.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of the birds that we saw were laughing thrushes. I probably got 15 new laughing thrushes on the trip. So kind of like robins, they're bigger size. And then the white-browed shrike babbler. So that's the male. You can see their very distinct white brow. Notice the brown on the wings, and then on the back on the wings, and then the black wings. This is the female. Faint eyebrow, still that brown on the wings, but instead of the black wings, kind of a greenish yellow, and a little bit more discreet there. Chestnut-tailed minla. Cute little guy, kind of the size of a little bit bigger than a bush tit. Kind of between a bush tit and a oak tit size.
What size lens do you have?
600 millimeter. I have the Sony bridge, so it's 600 millimeter zoom.
F what?
Well, I don't remember. It's a bridge. I don't know.
It's bigger out like that, right?
Yeah, medium size, yeah. But it's a Sony bridge, so it's like a compact, all-in-one type camera.
Okay.
Yeah. So the lens does not come out. So I used to have a 500 millimeter Canon, but I was tired of hauling that thing around. It was just, and this Sony that I have, the Mark V, I can click it on my belt and I'm okay, and I can move around. Just friendly guy driving by. Looks like that weld is about to fail. Azaleas.
So when you're taking these pictures, are you out hiking on the trails and
We are. We did a little bit of trail hiking, but a lot was road birding. Yeah, just on the side of the road. Because there's really, and you saw how steep those hills are, there's no trails. That road is the trail. So, okay, do you see those animals there?
Steep.
Very steep. And we were looking at this like, oh, that's peculiar. What is that? And we were able to zoom in a little bit. And those are takin. Now, this is a picture from the zoo, but that's a takin. Kind of like a mountain goat, but big like a cow. So a little hard to see there, but that was on like the next ridge over. So more of the Himalayas there. So this is a golden-naped finch. So the male is on the left and the female is on the right. I would think those were different birds, right?
Yes.
They do have kind of a golden nape, both of them. Green-tailed sunbird. We saw several species of sunbird. And then the Himalayan kudia. Paul gave me this picture off the internet, but I did cite it. My picture was just a little bit hard to see, a little bit far. But we spent a while trying to find this bird. So we're real excited to see that. And then the gaur. So these are giant. These are bigger than our cattle. So at least that hump is over 6 feet. And these are a jungle cattle, basically. They're on these steep hills, kind of cruising their way through. And on the side of the roads, some of the people in the group got a little bit close. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to behave. So I used my lens and cropped. So
Be smart.
white naped, Hinia. Yeah, and you see that the nape and back is white. Streaked spider hunter. This is from Macaulay Library. My picture was just a little obscured there, but so I used theirs. And spider hunter, they kind of look like a silkbill or something like that, and but they're insects, so they probe in, getting insects, spiders. Mountain tailor birds. Heard a lot of these and saw very few. My picture was a little blurry, so I Thank you, Macaulay Library. And then maroon oriole, got a pair there. And then mountain bulbul. So these are all pictures still up in the Mishmi Hills. So there's a lot of different species of bulbuls, and that beard, which is really striking to me. You know, as it flew, it just, for some reason, its beard went out. So they were just walking along the road. They were gathering probably forest edibles or whatever that they could find. She has a little backpack, a bamboo backpack woven basket. He has probably some berries in his water bottle, and then the dog. So this is ubiquitous through all the dogs in the area. Just this curly tail. They look very much like that, and it's their their pet dog. So I don't know what the species is, but the Indian northeastern hills dog. But down in the valley in Assam, I saw a dog pretty much like that. Another woman, she was gathering. She had a little machete up there, and she has a basket on her back also. So gray-sided laughing thrush, another laughing thrush. Scarlet minivet. We saw a couple species of minivets. Really stunning, stunning bird. So now we're here looking for one of the holy grail birds, the Blyth Tragopan. Looking and looking and looking, and you can see how narrow the road is. And we finally found one, so we're real excited about that. So kind of like a big pheasant, and got a little video of it eating leaves.
And they're rare.
They're hard to find. Yeah, I don't know how rare they are, but on the road, they're hard to find. But maybe if you were out in the forest, you might have better luck, camping out there. But
Do people eat them?
I would think. I mean, that's a big bird, right? So here's kind of a blooper reel. This Tragopan thinks he's pretty, confident, and then not very sure-footed. You'll see in a second. He's walking. Okay, I think that I can trust that. I can trust that. Oh! And then we saw 3 different species of parrotbills. These are small, titmouse size birds. Look at how close the pale-billed and the white-breasted are. In the field, I couldn't tell the difference. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Just being such a new bird. The white-breasted are a little bit bigger, chunkier bill, and the pale bill has a little smaller pale bill. And then the gray-headed. Fig trees. Figs are really fascinating fruit. They're all individually fertilized by a wasp. So every fig you eat has a dead wasp in it. Yum. Some more beautiful flowers there on the side. This looks like a begonia to me in that family. Interesting little wild strawberry. And then the beautiful nuthatch. My pictures, I just couldn't get it. So I had to, Macaulay's pictures are amazing. Just a stunning bird, both the collared treepie and the beautiful nuthatch. I had a couple pictures, but they weren't worth showing you. And then a rove beetle. So a rove beetle is a small beetle about 1 inch. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with rove beetles, is that they actually, this little area, their wing folds up and fits into that little space. So here's a little video.
This is a rove or staphylinid beetle, and it has what might rightly be considered nature's most complicated pair of multiple wings. They're usually underneath the small protective forewings or elytra, but when the beetle's ready to fly, they pop them out, flap them open, and take to the sky. But what's even more impressive than seeing them fly is watching them put the wings away. The wings fold together, but asymmetrically, meaning that each wing folds in a different way. On top of that, depending on which side the beetle first pushes, the wings can fold up in either direction because each of them has 2 sets of folding patterns built into it. In these clips, it takes the beetles 5 to 6 pushes to fold them up, but they're doing that fast. These shots are in slow motion, and in real time, all this is done in under 1.5 seconds.
So it either folds from the right or from the left. It's pretty fascinating.
So he does his own parachute.
Yeah. So first pied hornbill. All right, and so the oriental pied hornbill. Saw 3 species of hornbill there. This is a pretty good one, pretty big one. And then Drongo, saw a couple species of those. So the racket-tail, greater racket-tail, saw the lesser racket-tail, the bronze, a gray, and I did get these from Macaulay also. So my pictures weren't great, but yeah, the racket tail. There's a racket tail hummingbird too in Peru and in Ecuador.
Not related to a quetzal.
Yeah. So cattle, right? They're all over. These are small. So I'm filming with my phone looking down on these cattle. So these are full-grown adult cattle. And then some babies. The babies were like puppy size. They were so cute. They're like knee high. So very short, small little guys. And they have a collar, so they're probably owned. And not a collar, but a string that signifies they're probably owned. And, and where we are, they fed us meat every meal. So probably not pure vegetarian Hindu, but the cow, as you may know, is a sacred, right? Sacred animal. And it is incarnation of, anyone know what it is?
You didn't do your homework.
I did, but I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah, incarnation of, so you don't want to eat them, no. And then here's one of the few trails we were on. And some of these people were pretty old. This guy behind, 85 years old, struggling to get up the hill, but God, he was just going for it. He worked hard, and I was really proud of him. He had been on many, many trips. Many, many trips. His bird list, and there's a nerd right there. His bird list was like 7,000. So a lot of these people in this group, this was a specialty group. So they came on this trip. I chose this trip because it coincided with my vacation. I didn't really understand, but all the people are here needed a few birds from this special area. So one guy had a life list of he was almost going to pass 9,000 or 8,000. He's an 8,000, close to 9,000. So there, and here I am, anyway. Pied falconet, beautiful little falcon, smaller than our falcon kestrel. And then leeches. So we were warned about leeches. I had a special leech sock, and I got bit. I wasn't wearing the leech socks, and they're kind of like Christmas stockings that you'd hang real loose. You pull up, and then you kind of cinch them above your knee. Yeah, that's our guide. So leeches don't carry any disease, unlike the mosquito. They have an anesthetic, so you don't feel them getting bit. And they also have an anticoagulant. So with the anticoagulant, if you don't know, this is what happens. His sock was basically filled with blood because it just kept on flowing. And he didn't really, that was the guy that crossed the river that was just kind of going in. He just wearing his rubber boots and he was fine. And there's our guide. There's one on his foot. Small little guy. I filmed and then I told him afterwards. And there's some more Ollie's blood-filled boots. So this is the dog, right, I was talking about. This is just a classic dog. That's what their dogs look like. Stout, rugged. Yeah. Pointy ears, curly tail. A forest hunter. So chestnut-winged cuckoo. And then one of our ranger guides. So he had his rifle and his knife on his hip. He's an anti-poaching guide. And, I don't know if a tiger was going to get us if he would pull the gun out in time to protect us. But, he was stopping poachers mainly. So tigers were in the area. We didn't see any on the whole trip, but they were there.
How often is there sightings?
Well, in the one Kaziranga National Park, there's over 100 that live in this national park where we are. So they're there, but where the people are, they stay kind of away from the people. Yeah. And then one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken. So I just love the colors, the expression. Everyone is making eye contact, just the peaceful. And they were just like, come on over. And like, can I take a picture? And they, even the baby. It's just, even the baby's looking, it's perfect. So more food. And this is the food that they fed us. They were in a little restaurant. that this was a non-spicy meal, our only meal that was not spicy. But potatoes and artichokes and rice and kind of a fried chicken. So the chicken, they don't, yeah, Pop, they don't like, you can't get a breast or a wing or thigh. They just chop the whole thing up with the cleaver. And you get what you get. So the butcher, right? Open air, you kind of brush the flies away as you get your chunk of pork. And then this is pretty interesting. Oh, I can't really pause it. Yeah, I don't see the slider. But you can see that that's a pharmacy, barber, grow vegetables, and then the famous tea plantations. So now we're back down in the valley. And you can see the tea, and then women picking the tea. They've got their bags hanging from their heads and the pillow. They must have a sore back at the end of the day, right? Picking tea, their hands are free to pick. And when they pick the tea, they only pick the tips. So only those fresh green leaves off the tips. So the tea estates, the Assam tea, some of the people in the group. And then, out in the middle of the jungle, you got this tower for oil processing, Yeah, or it probably wasn't a refinery, but a well. They're, off-gassing, burning off the methane. They're probably pumping the liquid. Primitive shelter. Taking a bath. And these ladies were very friendly and, searching for a perfect life in her shirt. And then take me somewhere, anywhere, you can see her shirt, right? But they look like my students at Oroville. I mean, great meal, another thali. So we had all these dishes plus like a curry, a chicken curry. And then the Asian squat toilet. My students were shocked to hear about this, Like a bidet? Really? What? Oh, anyway. So these trucks would be coming down those windy roads. So when you hear and they're honking their horns all the way down. So you definitely have to get out of the way. One of our nicer places that we stayed, this lodge here. I had one of these little cabana things here. And then to greet me, we had our house gecko. So house geckos are basically from the Mediterranean all the way to the east. They evolved to live in houses. And I didn't have bugs. I mean, I wish I had some house geckos in one of the other places. Yeah. I mean, they'd have been big, those geckos. But, a moth landed on the wall and the gecko ran and got the moth. You see little poops the size of a grain of rice, but, not to have bugs. That's great. And then hammerhead worm was just on the sidewalk, or a flat-headed worm. These guys, they eat earthworms.
How big is it?
The size of earthworm, about 3-4 inches. About 4 inches, yeah. And there's the fire department. And if there's a fire, call 03-776-268111, or, yeah. And then just outside of my room, there was a Reese's. And then some babies.
Did they make noise?
No, they didn't. And then Kaziranga National Park. So we're heading there. And you can see the cattle there, right, just on the road. Yeah. Largest population, one-horned rhino. If you want to see them, you go to Kaziranga. Bengal tigers, 104. Didn't see any. Water buffalo, elephant, swamp deer, 553 species, birds. Yeah. So we're waiting in line. The park is closed. We're waiting in line to get in, and then you can see just the line of people all the way down. So it was a little busy in the morning. And you can see at the first animal that we saw, everyone stopped, right, to get their picture. And what's the animal? Our elephant. So Asian elephant. You can see the sunscreen on the back. He threw some mud back there. And then the rangers actually ride elephants. because they're reasonably safe rather than just hiking. They're safer from the tigers. And, it's just fascinating. These just animals just grazing right in the middle. I mean, they're right there. We got some in the back. We got some rhinos. More people in the group.
They have the small hairs, no?
And that's one of the poacher towers, right, looking for poachers.
So.
No. Did have cell service though, but nerd. So it's proof I was there. I just didn't get the pictures off National Geographic. And one of the rangers. And that's a domestic elephant, right? The domestic elephants have, oh, look at the root on this, the trunk on this, the buttress. Look at that buttress. So the domestic elephants have spots, kind of pink white spots in their ears. That's how you can tell.
Did he interbreed?
Well, what's non-domestic?
Yeah, just a wild elephant, right? So when they tame them down, it's still the Asian elephant. So I'm sure they could breed and cross, but Jurassic Park, right? Coming through. Broad-tailed, long-tailed broadbill. You can see that broadbill. You can see why they're called that. Asian open-bill stork. So another stork, evolved to have that bill. It's not a deformity. Probably to grab crustacea or whatever, or small, creatures and let the water run out of its bill, right? That's my best guess. The otter, Asian river otter. This is pretty well zoomed, but it's turned out good. And there's the hog deer there.
Oh, yeah, they call them hog deer.
Yeah, they're not hogs. There's no hogs. When my students ask, are they part hog? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. Bee eaters are really stunning birds. So this is the chestnut-headed. And then jungle myna. And I think I'm the only one that snapped this picture just serendipitously. I saw this is the great hornbill. It just happened to be flying, and I got the picture. And then he landed in the tree, and we couldn't see him. He was very covered up. And nice close-up pictures of the elephant. And you see what sunscreen on their back. Several pictures of vultures, slender build. One-horn rhino with a broken horn. It was very close, but that's why I snapped the picture.
It wasn't poached. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how it lost its horn. Maybe in competition or,
Do they maybe do that on purpose to keep them from?
Maybe, but I think they would make a nicer cut. I don't know. But another stork, black-necked stork. A roller, Indo-Chinese roller. And then a rhino butt. Isn't that amazing? Just stunning. Just zoomed in. Look at all that armor. That skin must be 1.5 inches thick. I mean, just fascinating. I mean, and then that is a lesser adjutant. So the bird on the left, they don't have those glands, and
How often did you see rhinos?
we saw quite a few in this park. Yeah, in the park. More rhinos than elephants. Another hog deer. And a baby.
How big are those? Yes.
Yeah, well, the rhinos are at least 6 feet high. At least their backs. They're big.
And how close were you?
Oh, well, in the car. So this is a zoom, and I don't think I cropped much. So the 600 millimeters, so probably 30 feet, 35 feet. Yeah, a baby rhino, but still some armor. And just kind of a neat, like, oh my God, I'm here. Look at this. We've got the hog deer. We've got rhinos just kind of grazing. And then the oriental darter. I grabbed that picture off of Macaulay, and we saw this, and the snake bird is the nickname for him. And Hinga, there's an American darter, there's an oriental darter, there's one from Africa, and then there's another. So there's like 4 species of darter that look pretty similar.
Like cormorants.
Yeah, like cormorants, but their body is completely underwater as they swim. So only their head is up. You can see it's wrestling this fish. Interesting. Bronze-winged jacana. Saw jacanas in Ecuador, so they're all over. Asian hog, bar-headed goose. Saw a couple of those. These amazing birds, right? They summer in the plateau like Mongolia and in the wetlands there, and then they fly over the Himalayas, over 30,000 feet, highest altitude migration of any bird, over the Himalayas, and then they winter in India. Black-headed ibis. This is a younger one without the black head. And then the owlet, the one that I saw, the what is it? The spotted owlet, one of the first owls that I showed you. And then the jungle fowl. So this is not a chicken. You know what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, you take two jungle fowl and they cross together and they make a chicken egg. So what came first, the egg, right? So you take a jungle fowl with these characteristics and another jungle fowl with these characteristics, you cross them, they lay an egg, and that egg came first. So that's a wild bird. And I mean, so this is, but take a look. Ready?
All the statues.
Cool.
And then there's the female. She's pretty handsome too, but not like him. And they're in a midden. And a midden is a pile of manure. So these animals are very neat and tidy. The rhinos, elephants, they'll back up to a pile and go to the bathroom in the pile. And then the fowl love digging through the pile for insects. So you won't see rhino feces all over or elephant. They all use the midden. Gray-headed woodpecker and the swamp francolin. Water buffalo, which is different than the African water buffalo. They don't have the horns like this.
So, but these are wild, and then there's also domestic ones, right?
Yeah, there are domestic also. Yep. So this is a giant squirrel. This is bigger than a cat. So the body is like 2 feet, and the whole thing it's like 3 feet long, the whole thing, 3.5 feet.
It looks like a lemur. Kind of looks like an otter to me.
Yeah.
I feel like a leader.
Flying foxes. So I did snap that picture. Good. I took the picture on the left, but just so you can see what they are, right? These are the Indian flying foxes. And then Asian barred owl.
So flying foxes aren't bats?
They are bats. Yep, they are bats. Yep, but they look like little foxes, but they're bats. Big giant bats. Those Asian flying foxes, the wingspan's over like 3 feet. And water buffalo. Couple species of lapwings we saw, the red-wattled in the river. And great thick knee. They got thick knees. Another baby. Himalayan griffon.
Oh, what's that wingspan?
Oh, those are big birds. Those are 5-6 feet wingspan.
Is that a vulture?
So yes, yeah. So this is a Burmese python. So there's the eye, and there's the head right there, and there's the body. So you can see this is probably a 15-foot snake, and you can see that can't really see it there, but they had a big lump. It ate something big. Small pig. I'm not sure what. Yeah. Nice close-up of a swamp deer. And then look at the strangler fig on the left. So bird will lay a fig dropping, or lay a dropping, but poop on the fig. Then it'll grow down the bird will poop on a regular tree, and then it'll sprout and then grow to the ground, the roots, and then like ivy go to the top. And then it actually surrounds the original tree and it'll strangle it out. So sometimes in these strangler figs, it'll be completely hollow inside because that's all decomposed. But just a massive tree. Just water buffalo chilling. They love water.
Is this per zone? Do they send you to a different
Yeah, there's like a main road, from what I understand, that. And then water buffaloes, I just saw this. I've never seen this before, but they actually swim underwater. Do you see that? I did not film this, but this is documented. They're underwater swimming.
Swimming or walking on water?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little of both. I think that was kind of a slow motion. And then one of our guides, and then me, and then the last picture, we're heading to the airport, and the highways are guarded by electric fence that are 25 feet high. So the elephants, and you might have seen some areas in national parks where the elephants are raiding the trucks where they have sugarcane. They'll stop the truck, take their passing fee, right? You shall not pass unless you pay up. And on the main road you got tuk-tuks and elephants, and that's what we got. Any questions? We can turn the light on. So. You're welcome. Any questions? Yeah, Paul.
How many days actually in the country, Assam or?
How many days?
Yeah.
With travel, it took a long time, right? So I think the trip was 10 days, and then I added 2 more. Okay. So 12 days, So I think I was.
Your flying days are included in that, though?
No, not in the.
Okay.
I was looking for. Is there?
You're not gonna land.
Yeah, if you're on Zoom, go ahead and add your questions.
Just north of.
Chat.
Yeah, north of Nagaland.
They had the
Yeah.
Hornbill Festival in Nagaland.
Yeah, north of Nagaland. Yep.
Did you ever drink Assam tea?
I did. Yeah, I have some at home, right? I like Assam tea. Yeah, they gave us Assam tea every day. Every day. Yeah.
Great.
I don't see anyone at home had any questions? Yeah.
Now, you showed this to your students?
Yes.
What grade?
8th grade.
Now, did they appreciate this?
They did. They all stayed awake.
It was fascinating?
Yeah, I showed them today, and they were all awake. I actually had to wake up. Oh, 2 kids I woke up. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, okay, I won't say any names. But, could you wake, that student up? And so I only woke up. A normal day, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
In middle school, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, Mary.
Was that a baobab tree that you showed with the big roots, high roots?
I believe it's a strangler fig.
No,
Baobabs
I know
have.
what strangler figs look like, but earlier in the slide you had.
Oh, with that buttress?
Yeah.
Yeah, buttress?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure what species that is. Yeah.
You didn't say.
Baobabs have this big bulb.
It's a K-pop.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't learn any of the trees there. But fascinating. And when I was in Ecuador, you could see these giant trees with these buttresses too. So, and
Oh, well, I was in Ecuador and those are K-pop.
yeah.
And they're considered sacred trees.
Yeah.
They have
Do you have a
K-pop
question?
in India too.
Yeah.
So those
I noticed that none of the birds were named after people.
The Blyth's Tragopan. There's just one. Yep. Just one. You're right though. Yep. And soon that'll be. Oh, I see a question. Okay. Yeah.
This is super embarrassing, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Okay.
On one of your earlier slides, there's writing on a fence, and it says "awesome ass," and I thought, am I seeing the right words?
It's Assam, and if the my students appreciated that also. With my middle school students, I didn't want to highlight that, but they really liked that. Yeah. Yes. Thanks for.
I'm embarrassed, but that was fun.
You brought that up. I didn't bring it up. So.
Okay.
Which gates do you enter? We actually went into all 3 gates of Kaziranga. So there's 3 different gates, and we went into all 3. The one farther south was they're very unimproved at all. It's just like a gate into this, dirt road. But yeah. Other questions? Yes.
Do they have in Kaziranga? Do they have temples and villages like they do like at Ranthambore?
Not in the park, and I didn't see a lot of temples just in where we were. Yeah, not a lot. We weren't highlighting that. We're obviously in the nature side, but yeah, it would be neat to see the more cultural side too. So we were going for birds. You know, and India is amazing. Like I mentioned, it's like drinking from a fire hose. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm super glad that I went. Yes.
Was your guide Indian?
No,
Okay.
no.
He's
British.
a
Yeah, British.
birder, right?
Yeah, birder. Yes. Very, very good birder. Yes. He travels all over and he knows all the birds. He knows thousands and thousands of birds. He can identify by ear and anywhere in the world. So a lot better than I am. That's why I pay someone. Other questions? Well, thanks so much for sharing the trip with me. It's a pleasure. So thank you. Thank you for those at home. We'll see you later.